right, guys, we are on round two, NFL divisional round predictions. Four great matchups, and hopefully it's a much better week of football than it was last week. Last week was absolutely pathetic, except for like obviously the Commanders Bucks game, and you could maybe say the Packers Eagles game, but even then, I don't think that game was great either. But yeah, hopefully we're in for some good games this week, and we shall see what happens. But let's get to it, man. But before, of course, I need you guys to hit that like, I need you guys to hit that comment, and that subscribe button. The support is very much appreciated as always, and it's always fun to come on here and do this. Of course, I wish my team was in it, but maybe next year, right? We'll see, though. But let's dive into the matchups, man. So, kicking things off, we got Houston Texans versus Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are coming off a long time of rest. I mean, they benched their starters against Denver, and then they, of course, on Wild Card Weekend, they got their first round bye because they were 15-1 and earned the right to rest their starters. For any Bengals fan that objects to them losing to the Broncos on purpose and whatnot, or says that they lost on purpose, but got well-earned rest, and now they're going to host the Houston Texans, who are coming off a win over the Los Angeles Chargers in a first half where they played pathetic. C.J. Stroud made some awful reads, but their defense came through. 4 interceptions against Justin Herbert, who, look, I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. People need to stop making excuses for him, though, like defending him throwing those picks. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but he has not came through when the team has needed him most in the playoffs. Hasn't won a playoff game yet. I don't want to hear too many excuses from anybody that's a Justin Herbert supporter, because I am too, but I'm just not trying to hear it right now. But anyway, getting back to the Texans, I mean, their defense, they balled out. C.J. Stroud played a lot better, and, especially without Tank Dell, especially without Stephon Diggs, he's going to have to get some other guys involved. And I think Joe Mixon, he's been a big help, obviously. They can go toe-to-toe with Kansas City, and I think Kansas City out of the gate, I'm telling you, my prediction is the Texans are going to lead at halftime, and the Chiefs are going to come out a little bit rusty. I also think in the second half, they're going to find their groove, and, they're going to get back to that team. It's going to take a little bit of time just because of the rest, and obviously, we expect Pat Mahomes to be Pat Mahomes, but, I think it's going to come a little bit late this game. But I'm going to go with Kansas City here. I think that they're just way too good to go out against the Texans of all teams, because no disrespect to the Texans, I still don't think they're a great team, but they definitely played like they belonged last week. So gotta give them a lot of credit, but I just don't think they're good enough to beat Kansas City on the road. I would love to be wrong. I'd love to see C.J. Stroud go to the AFC Championship, but I just don't see it, unfortunately, so I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Moving on to Saturday night, NFC showdown here. Washington Commanders versus Detroit Lions. So Washington, I got proven wrong. I mean, they took down the Bucks, picked the Bucks obviously, but I was kind of iffy on that one, going back and forth. But Jaden Daniels, he played, very good. Terry McLaurin got involved as well. Their defense was able to come to some stops, and then obviously their kicker, I think it was Siebert, he hit a game-winning field goal. So they forced a fumble on Baker Mayfield. I do remember that, and that was a big turnaround for them, because then they scored on the drive after, I believe, and then. Yeah, I know the Bucks went for the tie, which I didn't understand, but Washington dove down the field. Jaden Daniels made some great plays with his legs and his arm, and he just came through. He's been very promising rookie, and he brings Washington their first playoff win since 2005. So major respect to Jaden Daniels. He is one of those guys that I think is going to be around for a bit, and I think he's going to be a problem for years to come for that NFC East and just that NFC in general. So yeah, this was a tough one because, I do really like Jaden Daniels, but at the same time, the Lions, I think it'll be close because the Lions have so many injuries. I don't know how it's going to bode for them. So I think it's going to be another thing where it's like they start off a little bit iffy, but I think they'll pull away at the end because I just don't see them going out in the first round, or at least their first playoff game is what I'm trying to say. So as much as I want to pick Jaden Daniels in Washington, as much as I do think they actually really can pull off the upset here, I just think the Lions are just the better team right now. So I am going with Detroit to get the win on this one. Great season for the Commanders. Nothing but to be just ecstatic and proud about this season. And I think they'll be back here very soon. So I'm going to say their season ends here. But a great season for the Commanders, and I got the Lions advancing to the NFC Championship. Next up, Sunday slate of games, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. This was actually very tough. I went back and forth on this one because the Rams, they proved a lot of people wrong. I mean, I think a lot of people expect the Vikings to win, SoFi Stadium, even, and I'm one of them. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought the Rams were going to just kind of, not mail it in, but I thought the Rams were going to just get a little bit overpowered by that Vikings team. And, Sam Darnold, he turned into the old Sam Darnold, and that was unfortunate. And Justin Jefferson was a little bit quiet that game as well. And I just didn't see what I wanted to see from, like, even Jordan Addison. I just didn't see, like, much from the Vikings. No fight, no nothing. Anyway, I mean, I feel like that's just a disappointing and gut-wrenching end for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you win 14 games, you lose out on the NFC North by the final game to another 14-3 or 15-2 team. That has to be gut-wrenching for them. Then you look at the Eagles. They got it done over the Packers. It was a little bit sloppy game. I think Jalen Hurts, he's in for a prove-it type of game. I mean, I think that the Rams defense are going to be all over him. They're going to bring the pressure, and they're going to try to contain Saquon Barkley. And if this comes down to a shootout, I like the Rams' chances here. I like, Puka Nacua. I think he's going to go off. I like Matthew Stafford's experience in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has experience as well, but I trust Matthew Stafford a little bit more. I feel like he just has, like, a lot to, kind of offer for that Eagles defense, and I think that he can come through. I mean, he's not very good against great defenses in his career, but I do think that he has potential to give him a little bit of trouble. So, if he can attack that secondary, I think it'll be a long night for the Eagles. But, the Eagles, I trust Saquon Barkley. He's probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year. This was a tough game, again, for me to decide. But I'm going with the home team again on this one because, the Eagles, it's kind of a sense of pride. I mean, if I had to, like, kind of do it over, maybe I would choose the other way. But I picked the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to just stand on this pride pick a little bit. I feel like the Rams, they definitely could pull it off. And I, really was this close to picking LA. But I got Philadelphia on this one just because I feel, just because, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. And I feel like I got to just ride it out with them. So I'm going to go Philly on this one. Lastly, probably the best matchup of the week. January 19th, Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Baltimore Ravens versus Buffalo Bills. Battle of the two leading MVP candidates. Battle of the two fan bases that have been attacking each other the most. I've seen Raven fans go at Josh Allen and the Bills fans go at Lamar. It's been just back and forth. And, the MVP debate, it's probably been the biggest that it's been in a while. Both these players have been putting up gaudy stats for their team. And I think that if Josh Allen wants to win the MVP, I mean, he has the argument because he hasn't won it yet, and usually MVP can be kind of a, whoever hasn't won it. I mean, that's the reason I think Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year last year. It wasn't so much about his numbers. I mean, if you look at his numbers, TJ Watt was clearly ahead of him. So I just think it's kind of that type of popularity, type of, whatever you want to call it, contest. And I don't know if anybody wants to see Lamar get back-to-back MVPs, whoever votes for the MVP. So I think some of that might be like a quote-unquote pity move to vote for Josh Allen. But, this should be a great game, man. The Ravens, they exploded last week on offense just in the first half against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I feel like, their offense was a little bit contained in the second half, but, they were able to get the Steelers back in it a little bit, but at the end of the day, they took care of business. Yeah, but they're going up against a really kind of iffy Buffalo defense, and same with Josh Allen and the Bills. I mean, they're up against a very weak secondary. I mean, I'm not going to call their entire defense weak, but the Ravens secondary is definitely sus. Same with the Bills, and their defense. It could be the death of either of the seasons, not both those seasons in the playoffs. This is a tough one because, I went back and forth on this one too because the Ravens, I would say, are a little bit more hot coming into this game, but both teams, they have a lot to play for. But here's what does it for me, or three things, I guess, if you want to say it. One thing, when in doubt, I tend to go home team, so that's already one thing, but another thing, the weather conditions, they just favor Buffalo. Derrick Henry has not played in a game. I looked this up, actually. Derrick Henry has not played in a game under 22 degrees yet. It's going to be probably 8 or 9 degrees in Buffalo, knowing that place. So, and then lastly, I'm a Bengals fan, so you know how I feel about the Ravens. They're a division rival. I just want to pick them to get, I want to pick them to lose, so that's just like a cherry on top. I want the Bills to blow them out, but I don't think that's going to happen. I got Buffalo winning this game. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be maybe like a 27-24 type of game, but I think, Josh Allen and the Bills, they have a little bit more going right for them, and it's mainly for those three reasons. The Ravens, they obviously crushed them earlier in the year, but, that was in Baltimore. This one's in Buffalo, and I think the Bills, they're out for a little bit of redemption and revenge, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I'm going to go Buffalo on this one to get a win here over the Baltimore Ravens to send the last AFC North team packing, which I hope happens. You guys can say whatever you want. I know a lot of you guys will say, oh, you just picked the home team. Trust me, guys. There was a couple games here which were really tough to pick. I mean, all of these were kind of iffy to pick, except for Houston, Kansas City. I mean, I really feel confident about the Chiefs, but, maybe the Texans upset the apple cart, which I'm pretty sure everybody wants. The Commanders, the Lions, I mean, maybe the Commanders put up a better fight. I don't know. I mean, either of these, it's the NFL playoffs. I mean, I think either of these games can go either way. All of these games can go either way. And, that's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see it I don't think any divisional round is going to compare to 3 years ago when I think it was the Bengals played the Titans and then it was 49ers Packers and then obviously that incredible Chiefs Bills game. I don't think anything's going to reach that, but, hopefully this is another great week of NFL football. And, again, I'll tune in. Won't be as obviously invested and whatnot because, it's just hard to watch these teams not be the Bengals. But at the end of the day, it'll be a fun week, hopefully, for every football fan out there. And you guys have a great one. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time for the conference championship picks. But you guys have a great one. Peace.